A brand new Netflix documentary details the case of a Northeast Ohio man accused of being a notorious Nazi death camp guard. For that moment in time, all eyes in Northeast Ohio were on this trial. And like so many other profound moments in history, News 5 was on the front lines. News 5's Amanda Van Allen joins us now from the newsroom. And Amanda, Netflix used a lot of our old footage to put together this documentary.
Danita, they sure did, and the photographer who shot it all more than 30 years ago is still with us here at News 5. I got a chance to sit down with them tonight to relive that emotional trial.
It was definitely, part of an important part in history that I was there, and I didn't underestimate that.
His camera was rolling for one of the most memorable trials of the century.
This trial was held in an auditorium because it was a show trial. They brought kids in on school buses to watch this every day.
John Demjanjuk worked for the Ford Motor Company in Northeast Ohio for 20 years. But his quiet life came to a screeching halt when he was accused of being Ivan the Terrible, a Nazi concentration camp guard who forced thousands of Jewish people into gas chambers.
There was a lot of emotion there. Every witness came up and cried and recounted these terrible stories of Ivan the Terrible.
News 5 photojournalist Rich Geyser was on the front lines for most of the trial.
We went there 4 times for this trial. One time we spent 2 weeks for the beginning of the prosecution. We spent 2 weeks there for the beginning of the defense. Then we came back for the verdict. And then finally the 4th time for the sentencing.
With legendary News 5 anchor Ted Henry.
Good evening from Jerusalem. I'm Ted Henry with news of the mounting case against John Demjanjuk.
Geyser says even though Demjanjuk was found guilty, a decision that was later overturned, back home it was a different story.
I remember the Ukrainian community was very supportive of John, and they stood behind him the whole way.
And recalls what an honor it all was.
How cool that they did this, and that I have an opportunity to look back on all of this, so many years later and see it in a different perspective.
All right, so Rich really does not like being in front of the camera, but I am so glad he pushed himself to share this history with us. Again, this documentary is called The Devil Next Door. It is a 5-part limited series on Netflix.